Hey everyone, I'm Bob Raynor, and this is the Friday 5, your 5-minute creative recalibration at the end of the week. Well, it's still Friday, and, here's the truth. I procrastinated on today's episode all week. I didn't have a script, I didn't have a theme, I had a big empty Word doc and a brain full of mush. So I figured maybe that is the episode. Let's talk about procrastination. Not as a failure, but as a weird, misunderstood part of the creative process. Now, I want to start by letting everybody know that procrastination does not equal laziness. Most of us think procrastination is the enemy, the voice that says, you should have done this earlier. Why do you do this to yourself? What's wrong with you? But procrastination is usually not laziness. It's overactivation, too many possibilities, too much pressure on the outcome, too many tabs open in your mind. Researchers call it exploratory delay. Your brain isn't avoiding the task, it's kind of circling it, looking for the right angle of attack, maybe getting ready to get ready. So I want to give you the spark this week of procrastination doesn't mean you're broken creatively. It's a very common byproduct of being a creative. Sometimes our creative brain doesn't work until it's basically out of time. And I think most creatives will agree. Did you know that there's a psychological concept called the incubation effect? The idea that stepping away from a problem actually allows your subconscious to work on it. That's why ideas show up when you're in the shower or walking the dog or lying in bed, like, oh, now you want to give me the idea? Sometimes procrastination isn't avoidance, it's more or less quiet progress. So instead of punishing yourself for not starting, ask yourself a better question. What is my brain trying to figure out right now? There's usually an answer hiding under that bit of a delay. There's one article I read this week that introduced a new phrase that I love. It's called task stacking, not task batching, not deep work, just tiny little bites of effort. If the whole task feels overwhelming, shrink it down into just a 2-minute nibble. Not write the whole episode, but just open the document, right? It doesn't mean that you have to clean your entire office. Just put one thing away. Procrastination can often present as avoidance of an overwhelming task or project, and our brains kick into fight or flight mode, and procrastination is a symptom of flight. These task snacks help us to deconstruct the overall project and may even allow us to see things in the minutia that we couldn't see when we were mentally overwhelmed. Creativity doesn't usually arrive in these grand cinematic waves like we think things always happen. It happens in these micro moments, those small moves that kind of warm up the gears, get the creative juices flowing until something clicks. There's a theory published in the Academy of Management Journal that creativity follows a curve. If you've got too little procrastination, that equals rushed ideas. Too much procrastination equals no ideas. And a little bit of procrastination is kind of right in the sweet spot. So think about that. There's actually a productive middle zone where delaying a task lets you explore without falling into panic or paralysis. And the trick isn't to actually eliminate procrastination. It's more managing the slope. It's like noticing when you're drifting from creative wandering into avoidance hell. And when that happens, you have to interrupt the pattern. Stand up, change rooms, call your mom, turn off the screen. Your brain needs a reset, not a reprimand. So this week's challenge is simple. Just be curious about your procrastination instead of ashamed of it. Ask yourself, am I overwhelmed? Am I underinspired? Do I need help from an outside source? Maybe I need a smaller first step. Or am I actually incubating something worthwhile? You can't out-discipline every creative block, but you can out-curious them. So if you're procrastinating today, or any day this week or month, congratulations. Your creative brain is doing what creative brains do. Just give it a little direction, a little compassion, and a tiny 2-minute starting point. Well, that's all for this late edition of the Friday 5, and I will see you next week. Hopefully not at the last minute, but no promises. Until then, keep going, stay curious, and keep your flame lit.